importance of youth in any given society cannot be overemphasized, as they are the future of the world, hence the need to engage them in doing the right thing at all times. Young people have a critical role to play in the war against systematic corruption and economic and financial crimes, and in democratic reforms in general. To have a better Nigeria, the youth must be involved in building and rebuilding of the nation. This is the reason the EFCC is always engaging the youth to stand against economic and financial crimes. Hello and thank you for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Muhammad. The Eagle is a program that gives us the opportunity to discuss what economic and financial crimes really are, how they affect everyone, and how we can bring them to their knees through our collective efforts. Thanks for joining us.
Good day, Nigerians. As we all know, cybercrime is progressing at an incredibly fast pace. It is giving a bad image to Nigeria, affecting our economy, and draining the youth of this country. Let us work collectively against cybercrime wherever it is committed. I am Abdulrashid Bawa, Executive Chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Stand for the right thing always. Thank you.
With the introduction and innovation of the internet and other mobile devices, cybercrime has increased in Nigeria and the world at large. Youth involvement in such crime is raising concern as the future of Nigeria seems to be in peril. This is coming at the heels of an extradition of a young Nigerian over an alleged fraud of $148,000 to the United States. Ojochuktami Eche tells us more on this and other conviction reports, all involving the youths.
A wire fraud suspect, Adedumola Gbadegeshin, has been extradited to the United States of America, where he is wanted in the case of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. The offenses contravene Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1349 and 1956, subsection H, and carries a maximum jail term of 20 years. His extradition was coordinated by the EFCC following a request from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation pursuant to a February 11, 2022 order by Justice D.E. Osiago of the Federal High Court, Lagos, in a suit which granted a request to extradite the suspect to the United States to answer to criminal charges bordering on romance scam, wire fraud, and money laundering. Gbadegeshin, who was arrested on September 2, 2021, is alleged to have defrauded an American lady living in Kentucky, United States, of over $148,000. Upon arriving in the United States, the suspect is billed to appear before a United States District Court for the District of New Mexico, where 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering have been filed against him. Justice S.D. Palm of the Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has convicted and sentenced an internet fraudster Ochei Andrew to 2 years imprisonment for impersonation. He was jailed after pleading guilty to the 2-count charge preferred against him by the EFCC. In view of his plea, prosecution counsel J.Y. Beke prayed the court to convict and sentence the defendant accordingly. Counsel to the defendant, David Ayuba, prayed the court to temper justice with mercy that he is a first-time offender with no previous criminal record. Justice Palm convicted and sentenced the defendant to 2 years on each count with an option of fine of 200,000 naira each, payable into the consolidated revenue account of the Federation. Andrew's journey to the correctional center started when he was arrested by operatives of the Commission during a sting operation in Asaba, Delta State. Investigation established that the convict was involved in internet fraud and had several scam documents in his email. Justice Efe Ikpomba of the Edo State High Court sitting in Benin City convicted and sentenced 4 internet fraudsters to prison for fraud. The convicts are Chibolu Stephen Kanayo, also known as Brad Pitt, Udo God's Power, also known as Wang Wei, Orome Collins, also known as Wang Wei, and Clifford Otsu, also known as Wang David. They were arraigned by the Benin Zonal Command of the EFCC for offenses bordering on intent to defraud and impersonation. The defendants had sometime in October 2021 and February 2022 with intent to defraud impersonated foreign nationals on their respective social media platforms in the attempt to defraud them. Upon arraignment, The defendants pleaded guilty to their respective charges, prompting the prosecution counsel, A.A. Ozibu, to ask the court to convict and sentence them accordingly. However, Pascal Ugonne, the defense counsel, prayed the court to temper justice with mercy and to honor the plea bargain agreement between the parties. Justice Ikpowomba convicted and sentenced Kanayo and Udo, Otu bagged 3 years imprisonment with an option of 400,000 naira fine, while Collins bagged 2 years imprisonment with an option of 150,000 naira fine. Justice Ikpowomba ordered that they forfeit their funds to the federal government of Nigeria and to undertake in writing to be of good behavior. Ojo Chokutami Eche, reporting for The Eagle.
Well, you will agree with me that we all have to collectively come and help this nation and help our youth. It is our collective responsibility, both of the family, the society at large. Please, let's do the right thing, always.
Any rhymes here? Whoa, corruption must to decrease. It's a canker worm disease. When our people go live in peace, when all this nyama go cease, I can look back when I
see. Now here I dey work and I here I dey chop. Sometimes this my work it dey very tough and things go just rough. But that one no mean say I go put my hand inside bad things now. I know say if I put my mind to do this work well, I know say I go make am. I no need put my hand inside bad things. I be mechanical, I dey hustle and I dey legit.
Ni mai sai da kifi ne, ina jajircewa akan nema, ina sana'ata na gaskiya.
I be a stylist, mu legit.
I'm selling phone accessory. I do hustle and I do legit.
I'm a sound engineer. I do hustle and I do legit.
I'm a tailor. I do hustle and I do legit.
I'm a barber. I do hustle and I do legit.
I'm a painter. I do hustle. I do legit.
I'm a fashion designer. I do hustle and I do legit.
Be proud of your hustle. Be legit. Say no to cybercrime.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has given more assurance to interfaith groups and other civil society organizations across the country on greater involvement in its preventive mandate against economic and financial crimes. This assurance was given in Kaduna by the Kaduna Zonal Commander of the EFCC, Harry Aaron, when a delegation of the Interfaith Mediation Center, IMC, and the MacArthur Foundation paid a working visit to the Kaduna Zonal Command of the EFCC. Abbas Abubakar Umar tells us more.
Receiving members of the delegation, Aaron stated that non-governmental organizations, NGOs like the Interfaith Mediation Center and others are veritable instruments in the mobilization of the public against corrupt practices, and the EFCC would always work with them. He particularly emphasized the need for more active support by religious bodies in creating public awareness against economic and financial crimes, stressing that they are proven problem solvers. Responding, representatives of the Mediation Center, Reverend Beatrice Dangiwa and Samson Auta, unanimously agreed that every stakeholder in the fight against economic and financial crimes should go back to the drawing board and locate factors aiding the prevalence of internet-related crimes in the country and profile solutions to them. They promised to contribute their quota to the fight against economic and financial crimes, as the fight is for all Nigerians to support. Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for The Eagle.
Youth are the main foundation for a country. They will be the future leaders, but importantly, their present attitude and behavior will affect the life of a nation. For example, when youth tolerate economic and financial crimes, then the future of the nation will be questioned, since economic and financial crimes destroys nation building. That's the reason the EFCC always focuses on the youth and engages them to see that corruption is brought to its barest minimum. One vital trait that the youth must have is self-control, and that is something that the just concluded Ramadan fast teaches. Now, How can self-control be inculcated in the younger generation? The Imam, EFCC Mosque Jabi Abuja, Adamu Muhammad, had this to say.
I want to say that self-control, when we talk about self-control, we are talking about our ability to control our minds in whatever we do. You have just talked about fasting. In fasting, you know, the human body naturally needs food. The human body naturally needs water at interludes in life. But now here you are confronted with fasting because Allah has prescribed that fasting on you. Allah says in Quran chapter 2 verse 183, I think, Allah says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, O who you believe, kutiba alaykumus siyam, verily fasting has been prescribed for you, kama kutiba alal lazina min qablukum, just as it was prescribed for those before you, la'allakum tattaqun, so that perchance you might attain piety, you might attain the fear of God. Now, can you tell me, if you don't have self-control, can you fast from dawn to sunset? No food for you, you restrain from eating, you are restrained from drinking water, you are restrained from things like intercourse and what have you. Even where as a Muslim you are permitted to have 4 wives. And some people have these 4 wives and they have to restrain from any such relationships with them. You keep away from the food that you very much need. You keep away from the water that you very much need, seeking the pleasure of Allah in obedience to the commandment of Allah. That is a practical way of describing self-control. Your ability to keep away from that food that you very much need, your ability to keep away from that water that you very much desire to drink, because you have it as a law, as a commandment from Allah that you should not deal with them for this period from dawn to dusk. The relationship between self-control and Eid al-Fitr is, you see, Eid al-Fitr marks the end of the fasting of the month of Ramadan and commence the beginning of the month of Shawwal. But what it means literally is that happiness that you have in the past 30 days, that you have in the past 30 days refrain from eating, drinking, intercourse for a period of between dawn and dusk, and successfully too, which means you have been able to obey the commandment of Allah successfully, and you are happy that you did that. Now, relating it with the fight against corruption. If you see, personally, I look at the fasting period as a kind of what we call training and retraining of human beings. It is only when you have the fear of Allah that you can keep away from all these things. Now, tell me, Mata, if you can keep away from the food that your body naturally needs, if you can keep away from the water that your body naturally needs, at least to give you strength, in fact, to give you life, but despite all this, you refrain from them from dawn to dusk in obedience to Allah, then what stops you from avoiding corruption?
I would like us to look at the relationship between self-control and the festival Eid al-Fitr.
You see, Martha, I believe that economic and financial crimes have different ramifications. So though sometimes we tend to look at it from the perspective of affluence, from the perspective of the desire to acquire more. But it is not limited to that. Even in our day-to-day struggles, in our day-to-day endeavors to make ends meet, to earn our daily bread, if we don't exercise self-control, we will get ourselves into such troubles. And when you talk about financial crimes, economic crimes, it is not only when you do it at the level of what we have here at the stage of economic governance. Not only that, it is not when you are talking about capital market fraud or when you are talking about cyber crimes. You don't limit it to only that. Even those who sell tickets in the market can inflate it by even 50 naira, maybe 10 naira, or even 20 naira.
And
that is a crime. It's a crime. Yes. So if we have to look at it, we have to look at it from all ramifications, and definitely the only guiding the only guiding thing there should be self-control. Because if you control yourself, if you have this belief that even if I don't indulge into this kind of crimes, I will not die, definitely God will surely come to my aid. In fact, let me say this again. Allah says in the Quran, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever fears Allah, whoever fears the Lord, Allah will surely make a way for him. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ, and he will enrich him in a way that he never expects. And at the end, Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever depends on Allah, whoever depends on the Lord will surely be sufficient for him. So if we have the fear of God, we will definitely have self-control, because each time we think of doing something funny, we remember that there will be a day that we will stand before our Creator and account for our stewardship. And so with that, I believe that self-control will set in. Are all things that can be waved away for you by the Most High. Yes, we should always remember that. If we remember such things, the fear of poverty, the fear of hunger, the fear of homelessness cannot stop us from exercising self-control. Another issue is affluence. I keep saying this. Some people indulge into economic and financial crimes. Sometimes you see them acquiring things that not only them, even their immediate family, some even their extended family don't need the kind of wealth they acquire. And these wealth are acquired independent of right or wrong. Again, another thing is our tendency, towards impressing and oppressing. People, because they want to impress others, because they want to go back to their villages and towns and tell them, yes, I have arrived, I am rich, I am this, I am that, I want to collect chieftaincy. All these ones are uncalled for, madam. Some, like I said, to oppress. They want to have big cars, they want to have G-wagons, they want to have all the expensive vehicles, so that once they are on the road, If they just look at you and see that the car you are even riding is not anywhere near their own, they start even bullying you. Yes. If you talk somewhere, the next thing you hear is, do you know who I am?
Now, how can parents and guardians inculcate the virtue of self-control in their wards and, their children?
Yes, they should let their children know that it is not a crime to be poor.
That is if the parents themselves
And
know this truth, right?
Of course, they have to be. Let me say this. If truly we want this country or even the entire world to be a good place for all of us to live in, we must get in touch with these realities. That is the fact, honestly speaking. If you don't do that, then we should be prepared for worse things to come. May Allah forbid that. We don't pray for that. But prayer alone cannot lead us out of this. We have to work. We have to, the younger generations, we have to inculcate that spirit of self-control in them. We have to let them understand. Yes, by telling them that there is no stigma attached to being poor. Even though it is not a license that one should be lazy. No, it is not a crime to be rich. But if you have to be rich, then you have to be rich in a very good way, in a clean way.
I would like you to say something as we pull the plugs on this segment of the program. What are your closing remarks? Of course, before I hand over to Aisha in the studio.
Closing remarks is that, first, we should remember that we are just coming from a period where we strived to attain piety. We strive to obey the commandments of Allah. We should not change after this period. We should carry it on. I believe if we carry it on, it will definitely change our situation. And again, we should all know that as Muslims and Christians that we are, in fact, I believe that Nigeria is about 95% religious. It's either you are a Christian or you are a Muslim. 95% of Nigeria. I stand to be corrected. But this is my observation, an individual observation. Now, if we are truly religious, and given the two scriptures that we have, what they preach to us, let us let the world know that we are truly religious. Because if truly we adhere to the teachings of these our religions, I think we will be better than even the most less corrupt country in the world.
Well, you heard the Imam right there. Contentment is the key to happiness. We all should be content and be proud of the legal trade we are dealing with to avoid embarrassment and committing financial crimes. The EFCC, in a bid to sanitize its system against internal corruption and to ensure that its officers conduct themselves in a professional manner, has, through the Department of Internal Affairs, opened up dedicated channels for reporting acts of misconduct by its officers. To report any case of misconduct by any officer of the EFCC, kindly send an email to dia@efcc.gov.ng or call the Servicom unit of the EFCC on 091-5899-3541. Note, you can only call or send an email when you're 100% sure and have supporting evidence to back your claims. And that concludes our program for the day. We will be back next week, same time, same station. Don't forget to keep a date with us. But before we go, here is a reminder that you can send an email to info@efcc.gov.ng and speak to our officers on 0809 3322644 and follow us on all our social media platforms at Official EFCC for all matters relating to economic and financial crimes. If you see fraud happening, use the EFCC mobile app, the Eagle Eye. Download the app, follow the steps, and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. My name is Aisha Muhammad, leaving you with this parting words from Kurt Cobain that says, "The duty of the youth is to challenge corruption." It is our hope that Nigerian youth will be more patriotic, shun economic and financial crimes, and do the right thing at all times. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please do stay safe, be kind to one another, and enjoy the rest of the week.